Again.
Let's do that right now. I got people asking me for links. They're like, where the show at? I know y'all not gonna act like that. They don't know us too well. Win, lose, draw, we coming. We accept all the smoke. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Let's do that right now. I got people asking me for. We're live, obviously. We're live on our Sports Talk Nola YouTube channel. This is the fifth quarter. I'm your host, King Orleans, joined by co-host Miss Nick. Say what's up to the people.
Of YouTube, it's your girl, Miss Neek, and this is the fifth quarter. And we here. We ain't ducking. We're not ducking nobody. You know what I'm saying? But this was a very iconic game. There were some leaks that came out prior to kickoff, so we wanted to make sure that we caught all of the post-game interviews so that we can be as educated about what's happening so that we can have a really good conversation for y'all today. But we ain't ducking y'all. We
No.
ain't ducking y'all. And let me just say this. Let me just get my ignorance out the way, okay? Let me just go ahead and do that, okay? If your team did not suit up in 2021, don't call me. Get out my inbox, get out my mentions, get out of all of my space because we don't have nothing to talk about. You don't know anything about 2021 playoffs.
Real.
Okay. So let's do that. Let's do that first. Secondly, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady for making it to the next round to go holler at your boy AR as they fight for the pass to the Super Bowl. This was hard, man. This was hard.
It's a tough one. I got a lot to say. I'm in a lot of different places right now. I'll start off with this. I want to be respectful. A lot of this, with what's going on. Period. We're gonna have fun though. We're gonna let y'all get off y'all chests. Y'all got to get off y'all chest. Don't get me wrong. And we're gonna get it off our chest as well. But if you guys remember, if you listened to last week's show, I talked about a very good friend of mine who basically has been a season ticket holder with me since I joined being a season ticket holder. Since Drew Brees been here, like almost 15 years now, I guess. Not texted him before the game, and I know you remember Miss Neek. I texted him last week. We talked. Texted him before the game. He didn't respond. Well, I got that. It's not the bad message, but the message before the bad message. His wife actually responded to me this week, and he was not able to respond to me because he's not doing too well. So before I get into the show this week, I definitely like to send my prayers to Dan. I won't, obviously reveal his last name, but I want to send my prayers, good energy, strength, and all my good condolences to him and his family, and my thoughts and prayers, my love, all of that, as I explained to the missus, is with them. But very, very hard loss today. Very hard loss today for a lot of different reasons. We could be seeing the end of an era, and so we got to kind of compartmentalize all of that. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, you're losing in the playoffs yet again after a very good season, a lot of hard work, COVID, and all of that. It's a lot going on, Miss Sneak. It's a lot.
It is. It is a lot, and it's been a very interesting season to say the least. There's a lot of things that we've had to factor in. There's a lot of curveballs that we've gotten thrown. You know, the game itself is very.
Uh-oh. I hope you guys can still hear me.
Can you guys hear me?
Get up. Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean the season of football is always volatile anyway. There's already so many different moving pieces and things that could go wrong in a season, but then you factor in COVID, you factor in the social unrest of the year, and there's just a lot. There's been a lot of things that we've had to like really deal with, a lot of curveballs that we, had to kind of dodge. So it's definitely been a historic season to say the least.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We lost, man. You lost, gifted. I love Tom Brady. But I'm taking this hard. I don't.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's tough. I think it's tough because they waited until right before kickoff to say that this might be Drew's last game.
Right.
So it's like, you get hit with that, and then you're here, and you're like, no, this take away. This is not how I wanted this to go. But we beat ourselves. We beat ourselves. So look at this.
Yeah.
Look at the empire is falling. Look, my
Right.
whole flag just started dropping. Flag is sad, y'all. My flag stayed up the whole game. Now I can't even.
I think you're touching on it now, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna break down the game for you guys. And they will even do a little bit of sneak peek looking forward. I kind of looked at the Saints salary cap situation, looked at what's going on with free agents, and you got to do that no matter what happens, whatever the season ends, you kind of project what's going to happen for next year. But you said it, the Saints today beat themselves. Now, that's not taking any credit away from Tampa Bay, from native New Orleanian, Leonard Fournette, who came in and had a really big game. It takes nothing from those guys. But 4 turnovers, it's hard to beat anybody with 4 turnovers. And the Saints being shorthanded, Kawhi Alexander, that was a big, big, big miss in this game because Leonard Fournette was able to make some plays in the passing game. And the Saints front four, while they're very good, they weren't able to, at the linebacking position, Anzalone, while he gave everything he had, he just wasn't able to contain the passing game and the running game at the same time, obviously. And I mean, there's so many things you can point to. Obviously, Drew Brees, 3 interceptions, Cook's untimely fumble, which was just incredibly aggravating. We have the lead. We're driving in their territory. It's an entirely different game if this guy doesn't fumble the ball and he fumbles the ball.
Yeah, and that was just poor protection. That was
Yeah.
just extremely poor protection. You've got to be high and tight on those kind of plays, and you just kind of running wildly. It's away from your body. It's a simple punch out, and it's like these aren't the times to be this careless with the ball. And Anzalone, I feel like Anzalone got into his own head. 66 had his number all game. And it started to frustrate him, and the more frustrated he get, the less he was able to really execute the way that I normally see him execute. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the pressure got to us or if, just the thought of this might be it, instead of just keeping our eyes focused on the next round. It's just, I don't know.
I tell you this, the same formula that has been used to kind of contain the Saints for the past couple of years showed itself again in this playoff game. And the bottom line of it is this. When you're able to, you don't want to man up Drew Brees because the Saints get to set their man beaters and you can threaten to pass down the field. However, when you keep those 2 safeties deep, Drew Brees' arm strength is not what it had been in the past. And you force those receivers to make plays underneath and to get open. A guy like Harris, who's a very shifty receiver, very quick receiver in the box, a very phenomenal athlete. You saw him today bring back 2 explosive kick returns. We missed that kind of guy. We don't have that kind of guy in the box that can continually, and this is no disrespect to the Saints receivers that are there. Thomas usually has been able to do it. He just didn't look like himself at all for the entire season. Obviously, he was hurt. He didn't look like Michael Thomas. He looked a tad bit slower. And my son even said it. He said, Pops, he broke his ankle. He said, yeah, come on, he's trying to come back. My situation. I said, you know what, son, very good point. It's really hard to try to find yourself in a game where you have to be lateral and you have to be side to side at the same time. You got to be quick. You got to be explosive to be able to continually make plays. And so I just felt like, whether it was the Saints receivers' inability to get open with the press, Drew Brees' inability to be on the same page with his receivers, Drew Brees' inability to be able to stretch the ball down the field, all of those components, Sean Payton's lack of, running the ball in timely situations, maybe those are the components today to me that showed itself to be detrimental to the Saints in winning this ball game. And it hurts, Gifted, because we should be moving on. I think the Saints are better, but just because you think someone's better and if they don't prove it at the right time, then what I think is what I think. It's just an opinion. It ain't the fact today,
Definitely. We really got to show up, and I mean, we put a lot on our defense, and our defense did a really good job today, but you can't let 3 turnovers go for 7 point beat. You gotta contain them. You gotta hold them to at least 3. We held them to 3 points on each of those. This is a completely different game. We up by 1, and it's tough. Our receivers weren't getting any separation, and I mean, not defense. And I don't want to. Let me not take away from our defense because our defense did a great job. They locked Evans all the
They
way
did.
down.
They did.
They locked Evans all the way down. But I don't know if it was just them being worn out from being on the field as much as they were. or what the case may be. But when those turnovers came, that was the time. Now's the time to stop. But we had a lot. Our receivers weren't getting separation. Drew is looking shaky. He's in act. We're missing pieces. We don't have Hill. We don't have Murray. Our ground game isn't as strong as it normally is. We lost Harris in the middle, and he was actually the spark. He was the spark of the game. He started this game off. He set the tone. He came out the gate with it, and then we lost him, and that was something tough to adjust to. So Tampa Bay capitalized on that, and you can't expect anything different from them. They've been on a 6-game streak since their bye.
All
Like
right.
they're just here and they're ready to play. They got good right when it mattered. I want to jump into our chat really quickly because
Okay.
Chuck is going off right now. What up, Chuck? Welcome to the show. Chuck says, unbelievable. Saints passing game was stinky. And the Queen Orleans is in the building. She said, run the ball, run the ball. We did not run the ball, but we lost a lot on the ground too today. Chuck also brings in, he says the defense linebackers did not bring their game today. Oh, we got it. Yo, what up, Jay? We got my boy Justin in the comments. Justin says, not going to be rude. How y'all doing? Justin is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. He is a New Orleans native, but he is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. He's the only one that I respect because nobody comes out of the woodwork until they won, and then they got something to say. Justin is at my neck all season, so congratulations on making it to the next round.
Um, yeah, day one.
Look, look, that's your QB, right? You love Brady. That's
I
your
do. I do. I don't make no. I make no apologies
and you know
about that. Let me say this to be fair. Let me say this. Um, Today's game. I hate to do this because I want to be respectful. Like there's a lot of things that we have to when you are covering a team or when you're sharing your opinion about a team. You want to have any level of respect and not be an idiot online just blobbing off at the mouth. Somebody just coming up with some crazy, corny YouTube show, right?
right.
We actually take pride in what we do, right? And so we have to compartmentalize Drew Brees' entire career. We have to look at what he's meant to the Saints and his legacy. And so if it's his last game today, we have to kind of walk this thin line of, okay, Drew know he could have played better today. And I watched his press conference and he admitted as much, right? Um, he could have done much better today. There's some things that I think that some throws he wish he could have gotten back.
Yep.
But at the same time, you have to kind of balance that with this guy is a guy who played this year relatively hurt himself. He's given everything he's got to the Saints. And while we'd like to say that we would have gotten more opportunities at a title, we would have liked to have said we won more. We did not. And then here's the thing about Brady that you have to say. Well, I don't think Brady played outstanding himself. I'm not falling over, about Brady's performance neither today. He didn't turn the ball over. And you couldn't do that in this game. Now, he should have. Marshawn Lattimore had an interception that should have been an interception. Gardner had an interception that should have been an interception. There are a couple plays that had those guys touch that ball and beat it a little earlier. You got 2 interceptions for Brady. And that's just the way the game is sometimes, man. And Brady's had a very blessed career. He has, and he's going to, I think I heard is either 18th or 19th championship game in 20 plus years of playing. And he switched conferences. He go from AFC to NFC, and he's still in the title game. So respect to the GOAT. And this is the reason why when you look at the resumes, Drew Brees has a phenomenal stats. He's been in big games. He was ripped off of at least one other Super Bowl appearance. That's just a fact. But when you look at comparing him to Tom Brady, it's today's game. Not that either one of them played in the way that you think they could play or would have played today. Their reputation before this game. But it's the reason why Tom Brady will be the GOAT. And the reason why, in my opinion, Drew Brees will be a guy that you'll list as a top 10 NFL quarterback. So, you know.
I mean, I mean, I would, I mean, we just in analyzing the AFC, Brady didn't really have a lot of heavy competition over there. There's not really any stellar Hall of Fame quarterbacks over there. Now, if he had done what he's done in the NFC, running up on AR, running up on Drew Brees regularly every season, then okay. But I mean, I don't know. I personally feel like AR is the GOAT. I feel like he's just quiet about it, and we don't really give him the credence that we should give him. You know, I think Brady is dope. Of course, he's one of the greatest, but I just wouldn't give him the GOAT title. I don't think that he's faced enough adversity for that.
Um, I'll say this respectfully about that. You know, he went head to head with Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger. He beat Mahomes to keep Mahomes from winning two back to back already. Um, you know, there's some battles that he's had that, and then when whoever was the best out of the NFC showed up, he played those guys. And so with me, you know, with Brady, it's getting to that territory where his accomplishments are so out there and his winning is so far out there that just from his resume, you have to give that's where this is going now. I think if you just don't like him, now if you want to say he didn't have competition in the NFC or AFC East, excuse me, okay, cool. But when playoff time started, Peyton Manning and the Colts, Peyton Manning and the Broncos, right? Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, the Ravens with Ray Lewis, there were some teams. And that's all his era. And he's won more than all of those guys. He beat all of those guys. Patrick Mahomes had to get through Brady, right? And he didn't beat him head to head, but he went through the AFC last year. And if Brady somehow finds a way to go into Lambeau Field next week and beats A-Rod and Lambeau, and then gets to the Super Bowl, and look, I'm not giving them a shot. I don't think that they beat Green Bay next week. I don't think that happens. But if he does it, right, you beat Drew Brees in New Orleans. You didn't let him 3-0 you. That didn't happen. It gets to a point where, okay, you ain't got to like me, but you're going to respect these numbers. You're going to respect what I done did. You know, I'm already there. I'm already there with him.
I mean, we're not disrespecting the accomplishments by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, I feel like he's one of the GOATs, definitely top three, maybe top two. But I just feel like I just feel like Aaron is better. I just like Aaron Rodgers more. I mean, and that's a Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, LeBron kind of argument. It just really depends on what you're looking at and what your perspective is on that. I want to bring in some comments. So again, Chuck, like I said, Chuck is going off. Chuck feels like I feel like I was in here with so much stuff racing through my head and no words to get out. But he says he appreciates Drew for his service and play in New Orleans. However, time for a new regime. Definitely was sad for him not getting another ring. I personally think it's time for Drew to go. I mean, I don't want him to get any more injured than he already has been. He has a great broadcasting career set up for him. I think it is time for him to just kind of bow out and we move on to something else and see what else is out there, what's next for the Saints and our legacy, because it's not going to end up the way we want it to end up if we just keep trying to stretch him out for another run. I do not want a Brett Favre, Drew Brees.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. You know, Drew Brees' skill set has diminished to the place where I think he's reached as far as he can take the Saints at this point. And I think that for what he would be worth in marquee name, I don't think he's going to play for that. I think there's going to be more money on the table. The Saints have a very interesting cap situation where I don't think they can even afford, just off name marquee period. You can't afford to bring Drew Brees back. And that's probably really where we are. You know, the decision is do I go through everything I have to go through for the money that I would have to take? And I don't think that answer is yes. Because of your age. Now, if he had another $20 million check waiting on him, Drew Brees will come back. And whatever happens would happen, right?
You come back for 20 mil.
Right.
Come back for another 20. I mean, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to. You got 20 million. You're not making 20 million in TV next year. You make as much money as you can when you can make it. So, hey, you do it. But, you know, the Saints would, you know, if you had to entertain a situation of what would you do? Drew Brees at this point right now, I mean, he's worked a little more, but somewhere around, for me, I don't want to be disrespectful when I say this, the league minimum. We're talking $1 million. So the Saints, and especially if you're looking to try to keep a roster that's going to be competitive with the different moves that they're going to have to make with bringing people back and then keeping youth in the quarterback room. For instance, Taysom Hill, he's on the hook next year for $16 million next year, and he's not even your starting quarterback. Now, I know he does a lot of other things, but $16 million is what you're going to be on the hook for with your cap next year with Taysom Hill. And so I think financially we have reached a place, which is why we heard what we heard, out of the Drew Brees camp and out of NBC that he had a job in television awaiting him. If I'm to estimate that number is probably between 5, 8, 9 million to be there, right? And so if I can get that money and not get hit, and he ain't gonna pay me 12, they ain't gonna pay me 20, 15, it's time for me to go. And I think that'll be a major part of this thing. You don't come back and get your ribs all busted up and your lungs collapsed and you do that for $1 million if you Drew Brees. Like you don't do that.
I mean, but I think if you're Drew Brees, you don't take a contract for $1 million. You at that point you start to diminish your brand.
Right. You don't do that.
Why would you do that? Drew Brees. I wish you would offer me $1 million. They're not going to come and suit up and do anything for you.
Right.
I might pass out some water for $1 million, but I'm still Drew Brees. Justin says it's been time. In regards to Drew, it's time for Drew to leave. I don't necessarily know that it's been time. I think I honestly think if the injuries weren't as bad as they were, we see a completely different situation at this point. I do. I still think he's playing hurt. And I think that he is being too quick on the release for his passes, which are causing these interceptions. And if he's not hurt, that doesn't happen. But shout out to our O-line today because our O-line kept him clean.
They did. They did as good. They did as good as they could do with even the injuries that we had on O-line. It happens. I think the Saints will forever be haunted by what happened 2 years ago. I think that is that loss in the Superdome when you had that game won, basically. It's a legacy changing moment, and I knew it when it happened, and we're here. We're at this point now where, as John is saying, there could be some other desirable young quarterbacks that you could bring in. But let me make this clear to everybody. Just because you sign something new, and I'm not saying I want Drew Brees back next year. I'm not saying that at all. Just be careful, the way that we're talking. With a level of arrogance, as if to think that when you switch out another quarterback, that they'll come right in and win a Super Bowl. We have high expectations here, and that's good. That's great. But it's not easy. And that's what makes, I go back to the guy that's advancing, and he'll be playing next week. You can name whoever you want. Nobody has figured out how to win as much as the guy that came into New Orleans and won today. It's hard. It's not easy. Your team can be good. You can be 13-3, 14-2. Tom Brady was undefeated. Tom Brady lost the Super Bowl and they were undefeated. The Patriots did that. They found a way to come back and win 3 more after they went undefeated and lost the Super Bowl. So they lost another Super Bowl after that. They lost 2 more. You went undefeated, lost that Super Bowl, lost 2 more Super Bowls after that, and still ended up winning 6 out of 9. So it just, when you can take away the emotions and you can kind of look at what it's all, going to be, only one team can host the Lombardi every year. And when you do it as much as Tom Brady has done it, and again, do I think he outplayed Drew Brees today? Honestly, no, I don't. I don't think that at all. But his team made enough plays to validate them going forward. And that's what we got.
Queen Orleans is going off about the run game. She says, run the friggin' ball. We threw an interception on 3rd and 2, and it was downhill from there. We did not utilize the ground the way that we could have. So I definitely agree with that. Justin came in and said, if you go out and play knowing that you can't throw the football, that's not being competitive. That's pure selfish.
I mean, Justin played football. You need to stop. He played football. He know better.
I mean, he did play football, but at that point, like if you know that you could potentially be more of a hindrance to the team, than you could to help, then what do?
That's not how you're built. When
Well,
you're the warrior, like that's not how you're built.
yeah, well, I mean, we saw what happened, like even with Aaron Donald. Like you play your heart out, you get
Right.
there, you leave it all on the field. But at what point? Like 3 interceptions.
I mean,
Drew
it happens.
the game since in a post game season game since what 2016. Like
It happens. Today was not a good day to have that kind of game, obviously, but it happens. Um, it happens, and you're going to go out with the guy that has done all that he's done. So when we talk about, I've read some blogs or some other little chats. Any other quarterback for us would have won that game. That's sensationalism. That is fanhood 101, which is fine. Like you guys have the right to be fans. I get it, but when you look at the body of work and what this guy has done, he earned the right to go out like he's going out. And if you're going out, somebody got to cut your head off. That's the Japanese samurais. They like that. They like, look, if I'm gonna go out, you got to cut my head off. You got to cut my head off.
I mean, realistically, if this is his last game, you don't take Drew Brees out of the last game.
Right? You can't do that.
I mean, he's done too much for us and for the team, the city, and all of that. But he knew in his heart of hearts how he was feeling, and I think just being a little more collaborative may have helped the situation a little bit. That's all. But no, if Drew wants to play, Drew plays. Period. And
Right.
this is just how we gonna ride this out. That's just how it's gonna go.
He earned that.
Yeah. So okay, just coming in here. Chuck comes in and says, "Come on, Jay, it's time for him to retire. Drew Arm is gone. How long are you gonna take losing these games 4 years straight?" I mean, we made it to the playoffs 4 years straight. Like it could be worse. I don't know. And Jay, I'll let you get to that because he addressed you specifically. But as for me, I just feel like we have a Hall of Fame quarterback. We're in the playoffs. Our quarterback is in the game. That's just that. I mean, we're not gonna bitch a Hall of Fame quarterback in the playoffs trying to get to the Super Bowl. I'm just not gonna do it. And he's already been to the big dance and won. So clearly he knows what he needs to do to get there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that was directed at you, King Orleans. So I'm gonna let you go ahead.
I mean, but hey, you did a great job. I mean, you did a great job. It's the point. And I never said that, Drew. I am very cautious when we talk about people who have earned the right because of how excellent they have been with their overall body of work. And when you look at the Saints organization as a whole, much like Tampa, but Tampa hasn't had a sustained greatness like the Saints have had, but they do have one Super Bowl win, right? You have to be grateful. Now, I don't mean you lose your standards, but you show a humble and good spirit to somebody who has been so good for so long. That's why this show is a little difficult. Look, the interceptions were bad. There was some bad outside of interceptions. Drew threw some bad passes today that I'm like, damn, he don't have any RPMs on the ball. What's up? Why are we throwing, passes that aren't zipped right at the receiver? Why we got all the air on the ball? So it looked like a guy that he knows his time is now. He knows that he can't play at the level that he prepares to play at. You got to respect somebody that prepares as well as Drew Brees prepares for the longevity of his career. He stands toe-to-toe with some of the greats that have ever played this game. And that is Tom Brady. That is Aaron Rodgers, who only has one Super Bowl win, by the way. That is, I don't want to mention that guy. Peyton Manning, I'll mention him. That is John Elway. He's in the mix, the Troy Aikmans of the world, who won 3 titles with the Dallas Cowboys. This guy is deserving of that kind of respect, right? And so for our organization, a place where people wore bags, right? It was embarrassing. Sean Payton will deserve that same respect. I saw somebody, listen to this, Nick. Somebody posted a comment. Sean Payton's lost it. In his last 4 playoff games, his offense couldn't get over 26 points. I'm like, this is what we're really going to do? Like, okay, so let's go in the office and fire Sean Payton. Who I'm bringing in to take Sean Payton's place? Who I'm bringing in for Sean Payton? I saw that.
or if Sean Payton was on the market, baby, everybody would be getting fired. They fired him. I mean, here's the thing with Sean Payton. Sean Payton has a very long list of trick plays up his sleeve. Okay,
Right.
and he is very aspirational when it comes to these plays. And you just gotta respect that about him because that makes him unpredictable at times when you just don't know how balls to the wall he's gonna go. And that
Right.
gives us an advantage in some spaces. You know what I'm saying? We're kicking onside kicks. Oh, come on. Like he's just that guy. That's just who he is, and that's how he coaches, and he is just as unpredictable and just as haywire as he needs to be. And it works sometimes. And sometimes it don't. But that's the chances you take when you do that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know about no. He's man. I don't even. I'm glad they ain't on my timeline. I'm glad.
Don't believe it. I said we really gonna do this. Like we really, y'all. I mean, I get it. All of us want to hold. We all want to win. We do. But I mean, come on now, y'all gotta use some common sense. I'm reading some comments. The missus says Drew was the best quarterback for the job tonight. There was no other option. Winston threw one pass. Hill was hurt. Please, who else are you riding with? Chuck's come back and says, I ain't saying Benson, but it's time for him to retire. And for me, I'm not gonna speak on that. Now I'll say this, and I want you, if you don't mind, Ms. Nick, to throw in. I agree with what he's saying about Breeze crying, but I'm gonna let you get ready to bring that in. This guy, him and Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis, the guys who built this thing, they're going to sit down together and they're going to talk. And they're going to say, Drew, they're going to show Drew some plays. They're going to say, look at these plays, Drew. They look nice. Then they're going to show Drew some plays and say, Drew, all right now, they got, you see what we see. You see what we see. You know what I'm saying? So there's a way to honor someone when they're moving on. And we all know what time it is. Me and Miss Nick got to come back and look at this 10 years from now. And I would never want to be embarrassed by my analysis of a guy that I felt like gave everything he had while playing for us. And because it didn't work out the way I wanted in a playoff game, I came on here and went ballistic and tried to tear this guy down. That's not, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hold him accountable because he would want me to. And he didn't play a really good game today. He didn't. But if this is his last game being played, and I'll compare to this, Ms. Nick, if you don't mind, real quick. My last game, I coached my son. He didn't have a game like Drew Brees. He played quarterback, by the way. But we got beat. And we had won 2 titles back to back. We were just used to winning. And the team that we played was a very good team. They were more talented than my team that year. And they had blew out everybody. And I told my team, I say, if we don't have the character to sustain 4 quarters of play, character is the key word, then we won't win this game. For the first 2 quarters, we were in it, shocked everybody. They just shocked me. I knew we could beat them. We didn't pull it off. The coaches were telling me it got ugly. Kids started quitting because we used to winning, right? And so kids started, I don't want to finish the game. My son was out there. The coach said, pull your son because he might get hurt. I said, no, I can't do that. I said, I got to let him experience this. And this moment right here is going to make me more proud of him than any championship we've won. And when that game was over, as a coach and as a father, I let tears fall from my eyes, not because I was sad we lost, but I was happy for the kids who showed character. And so you'll get to a point here in a moment that John brings up. Go ahead. I'm going to let you go ahead and bring it in before I finish.
I don't know what comment you're talking about with John. I just
Breeze looked like he was. Do you see that one?
Yeah, Breeze looked like he was gonna cry when the Saints were down by 10 with 5 minutes left. 3 years ago, we would have all believed that was an easy comeback. Breeze was physically and mentally ready to retire.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I was like, "Yo, is he crying? Because if he's crying, he got to come out because his mentality." I was like, "Is he crying? Oh no! If he's, they got to go back to Drew." But they took the camera off of him and they never went back to him, which made me feel like he probably was. But I mean, I did see that. I'm just gonna say that I did see that. But he did look like he was going to cry, or he was crying, or he was fighting tears. But I mean, we look at those tears and then we look at the tears of Aaron Donald.
Right. Good point.
It's still the same. they still want it. It's still the drive. It's still the hunger. They
Right. Good point.
need.
Very good point.
They want that. And when you want something so badly, you put your body on the line for it, you put your mentality on the line for it, you completely sacrifice your life. You don't get to see your family. You're overexerting your body. You're getting beat up week to week. Yeah, it's supposed to take over you because that's what you love and that's what
Right.
your passion is. So I mean, I didn't. I was a little apprehensive because we still had a lot of time left in the game. I'm like, dude, no,
Right.
don't cry now. But I understood the tears,
Right.
especially if that conversation is happening, that this might be it.
Right.
It and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And
Right.
that it gets to you. It does. So I'm not really too upset about that. But I was a little like, wait a minute, bro. Hold on.
Awesome, awesome, awesome analysis. And I'm gonna tell you why. I agree with you 1,000,000,000%. Um, and y'all can call it whatever you want. I know some of y'all, I don't apologize for no damn Drew Brees. I keep it a band. But I'm not. I respect greatness, man. I teach my kids to admire greatness, and whatever you want to say about it. This guy's had a great career, and you know what it was? He knew what I knew. We had a lot of time left in the fourth quarter, and I apologize. I'm not at all comparing a youth football game stage to the same stage of we're going to the NFC title game. But football is relative, whether you're playing it at 5 and 6 or you're playing it at 26, right? And the character of the team, not that the team was a bad character team. I think Drew Brees knew internally he didn't have the talent at this point to get this done. There was going to be a lot that needed to happen to get it done. And the throws that you need to be able to make it happen, he was not going to be able to make it happen. He's looking to the left. He's hurt first. Michael Thomas is hurt, right? They're not throwing the ball 20 yards on the field for 3.5 quarters, almost, 3.5 quarters. So Drew's looking at the time and he's, like you said, the wife's saying, hey, babe, this is it. And all the emotions behind everything that's happening, he's feeling that. And you're human. You're human. And you feel like you let this team down today as well. I know he feels that way, right? You're human. And so I get it. And it was sad. I didn't like it, but I also like how he held it up. Like he didn't let it drop. He said, okay, he had to get himself together and do what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? The missus says, all right. That's his biggest problem. Not firing him, but he's our biggest problem in the playoffs. I don't agree with that. But damn the trick plays, play football. The trick plays didn't cost you today. None of that cost you today. Drew Brees and Cook and the offense inability to play efficient football cost you today. It was the offense, the lack of efficiency on offense. It wasn't the play calling today. Could we have run the ball more? Yes, we could have ran a little bit more. But the Saints had a lead in the third quarter. They came right down the field and scored in the third quarter. Took the lead early.
Really?
They took the lead. Very next drive, they get the ball to expand upon that lead. Cook fumbles the ball, changed the entire momentum of the game.
Right now, Drew and Brady are standing in the middle of the football field with Drew's kids and his wife, and they're having a conversation. And I would love to hear what they are saying to each other right now. I would love to hear that.
That's really good, Gifted. That's really good you got that. Where you got that from?
Yes, yeah, right now.
Oh, that's nice. That's awesome.
For his kids, his wife, and Brady, middle of the field, just regular clothes, just having a conversation. Like those are two amazing, iconic coaches, and I'm sorry, quarterbacks, and we're not going to see anything like this again. This was a really, really, really hard fought game. At the end of the day, we stayed neck and neck for the majority of the game until I don't know if Drew just kind of got winded or things just started to like build
Right.
up, but
Gifted. It's like at the car football here locally in New Orleans, obviously. They have built a dynasty. And they didn't win it this year, right? And yeah, people go ballistic. People went ballistic. They blaming kids. They talking about coaches. And I'm like, are y'all serious right now? What? Do you understand the level of excellence that it takes to be as good as they have been for as long as they have been, and they lost in the championship game? And of course, yeah, you want to win 4 in a row. Yeah, you want to do that, right? But when it doesn't get done, what greatness does is they say, okay, we look at it, we're going to make some adjustments, and guess what we're going to do? we're gonna be right back on that ass next year. I'm saying? So, and we will start it all over. So I want to keep the appropriate perspective. Perspective is everything. I think, as I turn 40, I'm watching the game and my daughter's laying on me. She decided to jump off the sofa and lay on my chest, right? And I'm sitting there watching the game. I say, this is one of the greatest feelings ever. I say, she won't remember this when she's 20. You know what I'm saying? But I remember it. And I'm sitting here watching Drew Brees and Tom Brady play, two of my favorite quarterbacks. And I'm cheering my, ass off for Drew. I want him to sit Brady home, right? But I said, my baby laying on my chest, and this is beautiful. This is beautiful. And we ain't trying to be soft. I ain't trying to make y'all. I'm trying to get y'all make Monday a little bit better. I'm gonna be sad when I get off the air. It's gonna be hard to go to sleep. I'm gonna go play Madden and try to beat Tom Brady ass with the Saints. I'm gonna try to bring the Saints to the Super Bowl. Drew Brees going to the Super Bowl on my Madden this year. I'm gonna make sure that happens for Drew, right? But I'm trying to give y'all. We got so much going on in this world right now. I'm trying to give y'all a perspective that you can still be proud of your team and be proud of your quarterback for his career. Don't do that. Don't have that instant reaction like that would cheapen how you feel. Don't do that.
I think at this point we got to kind of really honestly give ourselves the space to compartmentalize those two different feelings, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've had a rough year in 2020. And
yeah.
We were looking solid at least on football, and we wanted to go to the Super Bowl as some sort of consolation prize for the BS that we dealt with in 2020. So I understand the frustrations. I understand the disappointment. I understand all of that. And I don't think that we're above reproach. I think Drew knows. He knows that in his post-game interview. And he said, when they asked him about those turnovers, finally, nobody wanted to touch on what was really the issue in the game. Everybody talk about retirement. But when somebody finally said, Drew, what's up with the interceptions, bro? I wish I wouldn't have thrown. And I mean, and we have to be at a point where we can really honestly just say, yes, we know who you are, Drew. You are a Hall of Fame first ballot quarterback. We are ecstatic for everything that you've done. You brought a Super Bowl to the city that we thought we were never going to see, but at the same time, partner,
right?
We got to analyze this game, and the game says that your play was bad.
Right.
And it wasn't just him that was off, but he's the leader of the team, and your energy kind of transcends into what we got going on across the board. You know what I'm saying? I think being a really honest Saints fan puts you in the space where you respect every single thing that Drew left on that field. But as a football fan, you got to recognize where the trouble was. And we had a lot of trouble today.
Right.
A lot of trouble. For instance, Chuck says tight end Cook play was terrible. Queen Orleans then jumps in and says, can we cut Cook? I'm asking for a friend. Who's your friend? Me? Am I your friend? Because I want to, today looked bad. And I don't know what on. He seemed super cocky. He seemed like he was just sloppy with the ball. It was just, oh my God, it was too much. It was too much. It was too much. It was too much.
It was. I think you.
I don't know about just yet.
Can I say how? Hey, look, this is helping me. I want to say you helping me right now, and I hope I'm helping you. I hope I'm helping you. Because when this game was over, my son had to ask me, "Daddy, are you okay?" I say, "Yeah, son, I'm good." I was quiet for a while. It hurt. It hurt. It hurt a lot because I wanted to see this guy go out with one. And I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm tired of investing myself for a whole season. We win a whole bunch of games. And when playoff times come, it's like, okay, y'all out of here. It's like, what? What was all of the August and the Septembers and what's all that for? It's going to be like this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with y'all. I feel it. Case in point, Cook. When Tampa scored that touchdown off of his turnover, the cameras went to him and he was throwing his helmet on the ground. He was very upset. Put the towel over his head. He was hurt. And so I get it. I'm with it. And I didn't like how he didn't protect the football, but his response, I did like. I liked that it mattered to him. I like that he did not like it. He knows, like you're saying, that's the thing when you got it good. When you have a good character team, when they mess up,
they know.
They know. They know. They know.
And that's what I'm saying. I'll bring it back to Anzalone. Anzalone was so amped up today because he knew 66 was getting the best of him. He felt it every play. He had him hemmed up and he was locked up, couldn't go anywhere, and he knew that. And he would get frustrated, and you could see the frustration. I know that they understand the process, but you got to do better. Now is the time. You can't run clinics in the regular season and then come into the postseason and then you know. And let me say this. Let me just say this because the Tampa Bay that we saw today was not the Tampa Bay that we saw two times earlier in the season. The
Mhm.
defense played way better. They locked down Thomas just like we locked down Evans. They held Thomas to zero catches. That has not happened in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
They made plays on the ball. That's how we got 3 INTs. Their defense played very well today. So we can't take that away from them. And then you can't have those kind of turnovers deep into our territory and give the ball back to somebody like Tom Brady. That is it's a recipe for disaster, and it's something that we should have avoided at all costs. So realistically, yes, Drew had a bunch of missteps that I would have preferred to not have seen, but we had other pieces around the field on both sides of the ball that could have done better today. And we should have done better today. And if we would have beat Tom Brady today, we'd have won the Super Bowl.
I'll say this. Um, at this point, we got to start looking forward, right? What do we do now? Shout out to John. He says, good night. See y'all next year. Happy MLK Day tomorrow. Absolute, John. Absolute. I guess, Ms. Dick, I want to give you room to go in on and salute him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Come back and see us. This is our season finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I put my little goal, I put my flag up, put my goal on my eyes because I was like, look, this either gonna be our last show of the season or this gonna be a run for the bowl. But I gotta be killed. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
it turned out to be the season finale. So we appreciate you guys joining us. If you're jumping off now or whatever the case may be, we appreciate you joining us all season. We will be back next season talking the same ish, being the same clowns that we always is. Hopefully, Jay will get some names right next year.
I got some sizzle for you though. Before John goes, I want to ask you this question. Okay.
Mhm.
I saw Alvin Kamara's post game.
I didn't.
Okay. If you get a chance to go back and watch it, I want you to watch it. And to me, he was frustrated, and his responses to the questions didn't seem to lend itself to a bunch of Drew Brees worshiping. Maybe I'm reading into it too far,
Mhm.
and I could be. The reporter basically asked to probably have him give Drew Brees some flowers in the post game, right? And he was like, it happens in the NFL, teams change, and just that's just the nature of the business. He answered it very, like, okay, on to the next type energy type thing, right? And they asked him, said, well, what about these playoff exits? It's been 4 years in a row now. And he said, y'all saw what happened. Y'all tell me. That's the responses that Alvin Kamara was giving us after the game. So I ain't trying to speculate. I don't like doing that. I don't know him personally. But it was a frustrated Alvin Kamara, like you would imagine so with players losing, working so hard. It was a frustrated Alvin Kamara after the game.
But realistically, you got to expect that. If you we can point to all of the missteps in the game, but the reality of it all is 21 points were scored on turnovers. That had nothing to do with Kamara. And Kamara has been, as much as he could, he's been beasting this entire season. And when you put that much on the line, that frustration is inevitable, especially when you're that close. We're 2 weeks away. That's it. 2 weeks. And you holding a trophy. You got a new shiny ring on its way to your finger. And it's like, dude, we got to do better. And you can't come out with that kind of mentality knowing that this might be your last game and let that get in the way of stopping everybody else's back. Like, so I get it. And then I personally feel like post game interviews are trash. I feel like you should leave them
Hmm.
people alone and let them reside in their feelings for a couple hours and holler at
Right,
them in the morning. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right.
That instant reaction isn't always what you really feel. Sometimes you gotta pull yourself outside of the moment and really honestly assess the game for what it is. When you're that deep in it, everybody is to blame. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, but I don't know. I haven't seen the interview, but Drew did throw 3 interceptions today.
Yeah,
3.
I like to do this. I think that there's, with your permission, and I hadn't asked you off cam. I think there's permission and a maybe a need. As we appreciate you guys, make sure you hit the like button, show us the love, share the show, do all that good stuff. Bigger and better next year. Can't wait for season 2. We may talk about doing one more show. And the reason why I say that, I don't know when we'll get the information on whether Drew's coming back or not. Could we have it before the season ends? We got about 8 minutes left. I did all that prep on what next season's cap situation would be. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna be able to talk about it, let you talk about it, kind of chime it together. Who could be our next quarterback? Do we have him on the roster? What do we do in the draft? I think those are things that, once this game kind of is out of our system, we can kind of analyze that and close it out. Of course, you let me know your feelings. Um, but I think a exit show. You know how you watch shows, you have these reality TV shows where they'll have the season, then they'll come back and do the reunion show, and then that'll be it, and then you get season 2. Kind of something like that, where we come back because I gotta be honest, I didn't expect it to end like this. I didn't.
I mean, that's what it is. You just don't want to let go. Oh, before I let go ahead, you know what I'm
I
definitely
love my Saints. I do. I take it personal. I even wore a pair of J's that I hadn't worn. I bought them last year. They're black and gold. They sixes, the championship J's. I took a picture of them. I sent them in the text group I'm in. I said, look, y'all, I'm wearing these. This Drew Brees' last game. I'm going to go ahead on and wear the Drew Brees' last game. I didn't, not his last game, but it's probably not his last game. His last game in the Dome. I'm going to wear them. And damn. So,
you know what I think about like right around third quarter time they had no catches and I was like, sure don't take his shirt off. Like, am I doing too much? I was about to start pulling this flag now. I was about to start snatching all this off. Like, hold on, we gotta get back to where we was at because something's off. The juju is off. I don't know. I gotta. Am I eating the wrong thing? Should I go pour some clown? What to get this right? Because this is ridiculous right now. I absolutely I am because I am curious and I haven't said anything about it in my side football conversations with all my friends, but I'm really curious to see what happens with Deshaun Watson. I
yeah.
really, really, really want to see what's happening with him because if there is a way,
Ooh. Oh.
if that front office can pull off a miracle, I would be excited to see that. And
You gotta talk about what we give up.
we
What
can
would you give up to get him? Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. See, that's why we need to close out. Don't say nothing right now.
okay.
Say that for them people, man.
We gonna say, but what you know what? I want to shout out Winston. I do want to shout out Winston because yeah, Winston had one pass and all that, but Winston had one pass. He's 1 for 1 in the playoffs. He's one with a touchdown in the playoffs against his former team. You heard me? My boy is out here winning. Those are good stats. He batting 1,000 right now in the playoffs. You heard me? So shout out to Jameis Winston. It might not never happen for you again, bro, but congratulations on getting it done today. Now, Peyton, one thing I will say about him is he will make sure you get them moments. He will fight for his players to get those moments. Kamara,
Mhm.
what you need? 2 more touchdowns? Get that. Oh, what Sanders, you need 2 more catches? Get that. Even if it's just a couple yards, get that. I love that about him. So I want to shout out to Winston. You want to Queen Arlene said she want Watson for Winston. I don't know if that's a good trade. Since
Nah, them people, we'll ship. Look, I'm gonna take it like this, Gifted. If they'll take that trade, I'll drive Jameis Winston to Houston for free. I'm gonna pick up Watson. We do it all for free.
all
We'll
of
do it
it.
all for free.
All of it. Look, I might even make a pot of gumbo and some oh, boy, that's nothing. Got that. You know, I do think that would be awesome if there was a way to pull that off. Like,
It would. It would. Shout out to the receiver Smith. He did have 2 touchdowns today. He's probably got to be the guy that we unanimously give beignets to. I guess we're getting close to that time. We got to start kind of getting ready to award those. But before we get there, I do want to say this. This what we tried this year to bring the show to you guys without a lot of promotion. We didn't really do a lot of that. We've done podcasting before. We've done the video shows before on different formats. We're grateful. I'm grateful. I think, Gifted, you did a phenomenal job this season. Great job putting up with me. Your analysis of the Saints all season long was spectacular. We didn't get a chance to say this to you, but you actually predicted the Saints record perfectly, spot on. You go back to show 1, we talked about the Saints record. You predicted the Saints record and you nailed it. So I was 1 game off, 1 game right behind you, but great season 1. I look forward. We'll keep the audience abreast of what we're going to do with a closeout show. If we want to do an extra show. But if that doesn't happen and y'all don't see us until later on, I do want to thank you for doing a phenomenal job and hold it down for all of the women who that's out there. Because as of what I know, as it relates to in the sports world, you're the only one doing it right now like that in the city. So I got to go ahead and give you that respect. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's kind of crazy. I actually had no intentions on doing this. You know that I fought you tooth and nail
Right.
here and talk to you. Like, you talk on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, that's a status. I ain't got to sit and have real commentary. But I do appreciate I appreciate the way that you coached me through this and taught me how to really sit and analyze the game. I've become much more of an analyst and a fan, which is helping me to really understand what can and can't be done and how things work. So it's been fun, man. And I just want to say that we have done a phenomenal job to say that there was zero prep for this. We
Yeah.
decided to do this show like 4 days before the season started. Hey,
Yeah.
we didn't talk about nothing. That's why there was no promo and there was no marketing or anything. So, I am always, always, always ecstatic to make magic with you when we get on this air. And I am just thankful to be able to produce the kind of content that we can put out. But next year, we're gonna be coming for y'all. It's
Oh
gonna
yeah, we ain't playing. I seen them shows out there, and let me. I don't usually do this, but if I don't do this, they act like we ain't on the ass. So I got to say it. You know what I'm saying? I see shows out there that have looks and views, and I watch like 10 seconds of this stuff. I'm like, what? This what they're watching? This? Come on, man. So you absolutely right. We ain't playing no games come season 2. Is we coming for the views? Shout out to the homie Drake. We're coming for the views. We're coming for all that. We're going to make sure the conversation is out there as it relates to Saints football, because at the end of the day, with a real perspective, a balanced perspective, we ain't going to overreact. We ain't going to underreact. We're going to keep it a band with y'all. We're excited. There is a new era coming to Saints football, no matter what happens. There's a new era coming to Saints football, in my opinion, next year. I think Drew retires, and we're moving on. So I can't wait. I can't wait to come back stronger next year. And who knows? This Channel Sports Talking Ola, we may come in here and peek at y'all every now and then. When certain little things happen, y'all might get a pop-up. Hey, what's happening with y'all real quick? You know what I'm saying? From Miss Neek and myself, or just her, or just me. So just make sure you subscribe.
Gentlemen, make sure you bring your girls in. Okay,
Yeah.
bring them in here. Let them come sit down and listen to the show. I don't know what they know, but I know enough to sit and have that conversation with them. So bring your girls in, and then I'll pass on what I know to them, and then they can sit down and shut up while you watching the game. You ain't even got to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make sure y'all bring your girls in so that we can get this alliance going, and then make sure that they share, subscribe, and tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you do that. You got to do that.
We on the ass season 2, Miss Neek. We ain't playing. No, season 1 was just the warm-up. We
Yeah.
on y'all ass in season 2. We ain't taking no hostages neither. We ain't playing next year.
I don't know how, I don't know when, but it's for sure gonna go down next year. So I hope y'all come back and join us, because we might have a run on our hands next year too. But I'm a Saints fan, so
Hell yeah.
that every year. So y'all,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
glad Justin and the Bucks and all the other the fake Buck fans that just showed up out of nowhere. I never even seen you wear red in your
Uh,
life, but you
Super
gonna
jive.
you know what I'm saying? Oh, Art. Shout out to Art.
Mm.
Art decided he wanted to show up on my post today. I ain't see Art talk about a 49 or nothing. He don't even count to 49. He go
Mm.
48, 50, 51,
That's
52.
how you acting?
That's how he acted, but he want to come on my post today.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, interesting. Now don't talk to me until we got some kind of real matchup with the 49ers. Okay.
So let's do this. I mean, I don't know. Super Bowl Sunday is one of the biggest days in football. Do we come back and give people the outro for Super Bowl Sunday? Do we do that?
Let's do it.
Okay.
You know
So,
what?
so we're gonna let a few things happen. We get to watch the media days. We get to see Drew. We get to hear the rumors. We get to look at where the Saints gonna be at in the draft. We get to have all of the information with the cap, and we get to come back and do that for y'all to set up season 2. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we're gonna do. We
Yeah.
definitely.
Then I got another thing. Not we can close out, but then for draft night. That's in April though. That's a long time from now. We'll talk. We'll be good. Cause I know you like Jay. Here you go with all this stuff.
Jay trying to be strategic right now. Jay want me to sit on air and agree to something. He don't want to talk about it off air. Where I can be like, I don't know. I don't want
I'm scared of you.
to set me up so that I have to agree to come to y'all on this show. You already told him. You already said we was coming. That's what he about to do right now. That's what he trying to do, but I ain't had it.
I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm hurting. Once the show go off tonight, the Saints lost. All this, I can't cuss. It's all gonna really hit. It's gonna hit. They lost.
It is because there's no more games. Like there's no next week. There's no next week. But that's okay. That's okay, y'all. Okay, because there's no way we doing this 5 times in a row. So next year is the Who Dat Nation year. We will definitely be back. If anything, the 5th quarter will be running next year. So this year, who are we giving beignets to?
I'm gonna give. You know what? I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna give mine to Harris. I want to give mine. Yeah, I'm gonna give mine to Harris. It's Malcolm Jenkins did it. Malcolm Jenkins. We didn't even say his name. I mentioned him last week. He was there. He played today. He played. He was with it. He was with Brady. He balled out today. But let me go and give mine to Harris. I mean, he didn't really even score. I'm gonna give mine to Jenkins. Let me give mine to Jenkins. I probably know where you're gonna go with yours, but let me give mine to Malcolm Jenkins. That's what I'm gonna give mine to. With some milk, as the missus said, for Harris. He get to get a little, them little chocolate milks you used to have, and when we was in elementary school, them joints, you used to get them joints, and joints was good. That's crazy. We drunk milk with all of our lunches. That's like really insane. We actually did that when we were younger, but yeah, then we go play on the yard after that with the milk all in our tummy and all that, and it's hot, and I can't figure out why we weren't more sick than what we sometimes was. But nevertheless, I'm gonna give him some milk, and Malcolm Jenkins is gonna get the beignets.
I'm gonna give my beignets to Lattimore.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give my beignets to Lattimore just because he had Evans' number all game and he had Evans all season. Evans had no catches all season until that one today. So I'm gonna give mine to Lattimore just for doing his job.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Alrighty.
There was a point in the game where you could tell he was like, "Stop playing with me, dog!" Like super hype. And I was like, "You tell him." I'm here cussing y'all. I can't say none of that, but I'm gonna definitely give him the Lattimore today. I mean, and then we're gonna go ahead and get a nice little king cake and get that to Drew, just in case this was his
That's a good look.
game.
That's a good look.
Right there on the screen. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to him. But we're gonna give Drew a king cake. If this was the last game, we're gonna send him off right.
That's nice.
King cake. We're gonna get it from Antoine.
Okay. Make sure you're good.
Yeah, gotta be Antoine.
All right. Okay. Good look. I'm with that. So with that, y'all, until Super Bowl Sunday, we're gonna come back with that closeout for y'all. Y'all be safe. Y'all be good. Enjoy y'all holiday on tomorrow. Make sure you take a moment to pay respects to those who have made our world a better place. Your ancestors, those who fought diligently and for the rights that we all have right now. So do that. Don't just say, oh, I ain't got to go to work. Really take a moment. If you got nothing else, just take a moment to really reflect and then also look at yourself and how you can help your society and your world come together and love each other a little bit more. So I think that would further the legacy of Dr. King and what he would probably want us to do and carrying on his legacy. So from me to you, from my family to your family, thank you. And I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. I'm gonna let Miss Neat do what she do when she closes out.
Well, I also, just to add on to that, I also want to say, just in light of the things that have been happening in the nation, and there's a lot of angst and tension and things like that, with Martin Luther King's birthday, well, being observed tomorrow, and the inauguration being on Wednesday, where we will swear in our first African American woman into the vice president seat. There's a lot of things that could potentially happen. So I just want you guys to be very diligent. I want you to be very reflective, because we are honestly living a moment of history, and just really be thankful and show some gratitude to the universe and to God for allowing us to see this and to see it in good health and good spirits. I want you guys to stay safe. I want you guys to just stay really diligent, and um, we'll see y'all next season. So before you get up out of here, I'm gonna give y'all just a quick second to go ahead and like. Then I want you to subscribe. Okay. And then I want you to share this whole video with your people. Tell them to come back and see us on Super Bowl Sunday. We'll announce the time. We'll probably do a teaser between now and then and let y'all know what time you can come and catch us on Super Bowl Sunday. But until then, be safe, be healthy, be happy, be well. This is your girl, Miss Meek. That's JR Needs. And this is the fifth quarter. We'll see y'all next time.